Hello, everybody. Hello to Audi and to everybody. My name is Alicia and welcome back to my channel. This is my sweet little boy cat, Audi. He's being very needy because he knows I'm leaving here soon to go on a coffee date with some of my girlfriends, but welcome to the reading vlog. In today's reading vlog, we are reading The Little Teashop in Tokyo by Julie Kaplan. I have never read a book from this author before, but I live about an hour away from Tokyo in Japan, and I saw this at the foreign language bookstore, and I thought, yes, I need to read this. This looks so cute. But then I found out that this is actually book number 6 out of 12 in the Romantic Escapes series that this author has written. Sorry if I keep moving. Audi just keeps kind of trying to bite onto my phone. Also, by the way, happy August 2024. I think this is my last book that I'm reading in August. I know I said that in my last vlog, but today is August 28th. So we've got a couple of days to read this book and then we will be done for the month. This one is in Tokyo, but they all take place in different countries, but supposedly they're all interconnected standalones, so I might see some characters from some of the previous books, but we'll see how I feel about this one, and then maybe I'll go and read the other ones. I mean, they've got Copenhagen, Paris, Brooklyn, Croatia. I know book number 10 is the one that takes place in France, and that's available on Kindle Unlimited in the States. My Kindle is still connected to America, but with this one, I can't wait to get into it. It's got over 8,700 reviews across Amazon and Goodreads, and it's got between a 3.9 and a 4.4 star rating. This one came out in June of 2020, and it's a little lengthy for a romance book. It's 359 pages. This is about a travel blogger named Fiona, and Japan has always been at the top of her bucket list. Well, then somehow, some way, she wins this all expenses paid trip to Japan, and she thinks, this is it, I have made it. Well, when she gets there, she runs into her ex-boyfriend Gabe, who is some sort of photographer, and I guess it's a second chance romance because Fiona starts thinking about how they ended and what happened 10 years ago. So I don't know their ages, I don't know what broke them up. We will get into it and find out. I am super excited also because this author, Julie Kaplan, she used to be a former PR director, and she would do press junkets and press tours all around Europe. And so she was trying all of the top foods, top drinks, going on tours, all the sightseeing. And that is what sparked the inspiration for this whole book series. So I'm excited to see what places she talks about in here because that's where my husband and I can go when he takes leave next week. In Japan, 7-Eleven or York Deli, York Mart, they're all one and the same. 7-Eleven is a grocery store. I mean, this is some fried rice and some chicken on a stick. Maybe I can give y'all some fun little tidbits during this reading vlog. This right here, I just said it at the beginning of this vlog. Julie Kaplan is addicted to travel and good food. Formerly a PR director, for many years, she swanned around Europe, taking top food and drink writers on press trips, sampling the gastronomic delights of the continent. It was a tough job, but someone had to do it. These trips have provided the inspiration and settings for her novels. I love that this is in here. I didn't even know that. I just opened the book, but I had read that on Amazon. My sweet little boy cat is back with us. He's being so needy. The book just starts off and gets right to it. Fiona has landed in Japan. She's in Tokyo at the Haneda airport. And if y'all were curious, there are 4 international airports in Japan. There's Osaka, Nagoya, Haneda, and Narita. Haneda and Narita are the 2 main international airports. If you're coming in from London or coming in from the States, those are the 2 that you would generally fly into. If any of you have been following along on the Japanese murder hornet saga, this just happened a couple of days ago, or my husband and I just noticed it a couple of days ago. They are still here. We know from the synopsis that her ex-boyfriend Gabe is a photographer, but I think Fiona is also a photographer as well. She won this competition and that's why she's in Japan. She'll be there for 2 weeks, which is insane. 2 weeks, all expenses paid, and she's gonna be working with one of the world's top photographers, who I thought, oh, maybe that's Gabe, but it said the name. It's not Gabe. But I guess that's how they're gonna run into each other. I just realized I brought my book into the living room. I don't know why. I am leaving now to go meet up with my girlfriends. I am not a public vlogger, so I don't know if I'll capture any of that. I do want to show y'all around Japan just because this is a fun little Japanese vlog, but I don't know. This might just be strictly reading, a reading vlog, and me being inside my military base apartment. We got here in November of 2023. Right now it's August 2024. But anyways, regardless, I'm meeting up with my friends right now. So I was gonna do a little bit of an outfit check. I don't really know what all you can see because I use the back-facing camera on my iPhone, but I will maybe take you with me. Maybe not, but I will see you later. I swear I'm leaving. I'm running around the house. I put my sweater back on. I'm about to take it off, but I didn't tell y'all. I read a little bit more in the book. Guess who's picking her up at the airport? Gabriel. Gabe. All right, it's the next day, August 29th. Look, I got watermelon nails. It's a rainy day in Japan. It's now Friday and I'm about to make some coffee and look who's helping me. I hope this is good. I'm not the greatest at making coffee. Hello everybody. It is a few days later officially with my face on camera. It is the evening time of Friday, August 30th. My husband just left to go to work. We got nowhere a couple of days ago. I got to page 4 and Gabe was the one picking her up from the airport. So let's just continue. Also, if I wear winter clothing, will it get colder sooner? Gabe just introduced himself to her. He does not remember her from 10 years ago. Aren't they ex-boyfriend and girlfriend? I would feel so horrible. I go into books wanting to know a lot about each character, including age. To me, I think I should know your age up front. But right here, I'm not quite sure how old Fiona is. It just says she nodded, lifting her chin slightly. She wasn't 18 anymore. 18. So was she 18 when they dated and she's 28 now? I'm afraid you're going to have to make do with me. Y'all, she was supposed to work with that hot shot photographer, but now it looks like she's gonna be stuck with Gabe for the next 2 weeks. It appeared that in Japan, people didn't talk on the trains. This could not be more true. No one says a word on the trains, and you can't be on your phone on the train. I mean, talking on your phone. They even get on the speaker, they say it in Japanese and in English. Please refrain from being on your phones. Everyone is just so quiet. No one talks to each other. Everyone is just staring at their phone, playing games, scrolling social media. It is wild. And even during rush hour, the trains will be packed. I mean, you are shoulder to shoulder, butt to butt, and it is eerily quiet on the train. Fiona is a travel blogger and she's got her blog and her Instagram, and she had won this competition that she entered into, and it was a photographer's competition, so that's interesting that she beat everybody else. But while she's here for the next 2 weeks, she has to work on an exhibition. She's got this guaranteed exhibition that was part of the prize, not just this free 2-week vacation. And for this exhibition, it's an opportunity to gain some recognition and sell some work. But it's interesting because don't exhibitions take a long time? If the whole point of it is to get yourself out there and get yourself recognized and sell pieces and sell work, you need to have a theme for it ahead of time. She's here right now and has no idea what she wants to do. If Gabe is talking to a married woman, then I already don't like this book. By page 18, Right here, someone named Yumi, she text messaged Gabe and said, Mako is away again. No one else understands me here. I'm so lonely. Come take me out to dinner. And then he responds and says, sorry, I'm working today, perhaps tomorrow. And then it tells us that Yumi is a married woman, sir. The book talks a little bit about the Shinkansen, which is the bullet train, and how there was a trip to Osaka. My husband and I, along with our neighbors and their 2 girls, we actually took the Shinkansen, the bullet train, to Osaka, and we got to meet the conductor. He let us wear his hat. I have a picture that I'll throw up on the screen. And then we went to Osaka to see the cherry blossoms, and then we also went to Universal Studios. We went to Harry Potter World. Fiona is 28 years old. It does say it right here, but I still want to know how old Gabe is. I really hope this doesn't become a book where I dislike both characters. I think Gabe is talking to a married woman, and I already don't like that. But now, right here with Fiona, the way that she talks to him, granted, I don't know what happened with them 10 years ago, but girl, get a grip on yourself. She says right here, have you even seen my portfolio, read my entry? And he says, I'm sorry, no, I didn't. And she says, no surprise there, I had you down as a flake. And he says, excuse me, a flake? How on earth do you figure that? You don't even know me. And then she says, yeah, you're the sort of guy that does what he wants. Girl, get it together. We are learning a little bit more about Yumi, the woman that is married that Gabe is potentially talking to. There's a photo called Girl in Blossom, and it was taken in 2016. I don't know what year we're in right now in this book. This book was published in 2020. So I don't know in the book if this photo was taken 4 years ago, but Fiona is looking at it. And it just says right here that Yumi was Gabe's longtime muse and favorite subject. So maybe that's how they met. Yumi is in a ton of Gabe's photos. Fiona is just looking at all of these pictures that he took of her over the years. There's a part in the book that's talking about chopsticks, and Fiona is terrible at using chopsticks. And y'all, look, my husband and I, we got these. These are the reusable kind. You wash them. Aren't they so cute? I do not like the way that they talk to each other. It's making me laugh because I hate it so much. Right here, she just says to Gabe, Fiona says, I can't decide whether I feel inspired or depressed. I'm never gonna be that good, because she's looking at something. And Gabe says, probably not. And then she says, thanks for the encouragement. And he says, I don't deal in dishonesty. Why are they talking to each other like this? 4 pages later, the way that they talk to each other, I don't understand. He says to her, sorry, I didn't mean to pry. It's part of my technique to get my portrait subjects to open up. And she says very sharply, I'm not one of your subjects, and I have no desire to be. This is my 10% check-in. I'm actually pretty far past 10%. This is probably my 15% check-in. I don't know how I feel about this book. I do like learning all about the Japanese culture though, so I'll give it that. Right now they're talking about kimonos, and someone says these days people tend to wear them for special events like weddings, a traditional tea ceremony, or at coming of age ceremonies. I got to try on a traditional Japanese kimono. It took almost 40 minutes to get dressed, and I went with one of my girlfriends. I'll put a picture on the screen. That was so much fun, but I will tell you, we were sweating so much. There were so many layers to it. Apparently back in the day, this is what Japanese women wore all day, every day, and now it's just for special events. This is probably so nitpicky of me, but considering there's not, the cartoon characters on the front cover like most books these days, but on page 50, we finally find out that Fiona has strawberry blonde hair. I just like to know what people look like and know their age and where they came from. I have no idea where she's from, nor Gabe. Still don't know Gabe's age. Is this a thing right now that we just jump right in? To me, these are one-dimensional characters. Gabe must have done something 10 years ago, and I need to know more. Fiona is on the phone with her mom, and her mom says, wait, you're working with Gabriel Burnett, the man who ruined your life? I hope he apologized. Gabe, what did you do? I'm just right here in front of my bookshelf. They are headed to see Tokyo Skytree, which is the tallest tower in the entire world. Not the tallest building, but the tallest tower. I actually went with one of my friends and I got this. It's so cute. Tokyo Skytree. It's actually full of cookies. We didn't get to go up to the very, very top because it was too windy that day, but I got a picture in front of it and hopefully I'll get to go see that before we leave here. I am confused right now. Was Gabe Fiona's teacher in college? We don't know his age now or then. We know she was 18 at the time that they dated. But right here, when she was in class, everyone in the class had been equally starstruck when it was announced that the following week, Gabriel Burnett would be tutoring them. How old is he? What? And was he her teacher? For real, he was her teacher? Hang on. I think we just found out the story, what happened with Fiona and Gabe. They're not ex-boyfriend and girlfriend. And it says on the synopsis that he was just the man that broke her heart 10 years ago. And we are now learning they never dated. We're learning what happened. And it's so dumb. I'm sorry. It's just not, like, that was it. That you didn't even know this man and he broke your heart. And what happened? What? This is my 20% check-in and they are talking about how complicated the toilets are in Japan. This is so true. She says right here, especially the toilet with all of its buttons and symbols. It's high-tech and it's complicated. Yes, it is so confusing. I don't want to say that I get toilet anxiety, but it's so true. Half the time, I don't know how to flush the toilet. Every toilet has a bidet, and I don't want to use the bidet. And then there's the high bidet and the low bidet, and then there's the middle. And oh my gosh, it's so much. Also, all the toilets are heated. The seats are heated. I'm sorry, it's 110 degrees here with 100% humidity. These seats do not need to be heated. And then in some of the restrooms, when you go in there, as soon as you sit down, water starts to play like a streaming river so that no one can hear what you're doing. That's kind of fun. There was a hornet that came in through our window. I have no idea how, but it started flying around. I started hitting everything with the broom. Something broke. I have no idea where that came from, but here homeboy is. Oh. Oh my God, he keeps moving. I don't care.
I've got poison all over your desk.
Fine. I tucked a towel underneath the door. That way, if any more get into the office, they won't be able to get into the rest of our home. Hey everybody. Okay, I took a couple of hours off from reading after all of that happened. It was just messaging my husband and then playing on YouTube. So I'm back to reading the book. Y'all, they're talking about going to the Team Lab Digital Art Museum. I want to go there so bad. We have family coming in town in November and in December, and definitely the family members that are coming in November, I want to take them to Tokyo and go to the Digital Art Museum. I'll pop some pictures up on the screen. It looks so cool. Have y'all heard of onigiri? It's the triangle rice, and sometimes it has seafood in the middle of it. I've had it a couple of times, and it's just not my favorite. I'll pop up some pictures. They're eating that right now, and people seem to really like it. I just thought it just tasted like rice, because even if you get a tuna and mayo one, or you get a salmon one, or some sort of fish and soy sauce, it just tastes like you're eating straight rice. I've said this before on my channel. You can have an unlikable main character and still enjoy the book. I'm honestly not enjoying this book, and I really don't like Gabe. He canceled on Fiona yesterday because he said he had to work, and now we're kind of in his point of view. I mean, it's third person, but he woke up with a hangover and with the taste of regret in his mouth. He should have known better than to play hooky yesterday. And then it tells you that he went out with Yumi. He went to dinner with her and then drank with her. I mean, they didn't hook up. That's good. She's married. But why are you hanging out with a married woman? I don't care how down bad you are for her. She's married. I don't like Gabe. I don't know if this is supposed to be a slow burn book, but nothing is happening with these characters. We established on page 4 that Fiona knew who Gabe was when he picked her up at the airport, but Gabe has no idea who she is. But now right here it says, again, it crossed his mind that he had met her before. So twice now he's thought that maybe he knows who Fiona is, and this is on page 98. I'm bored with this book. I seriously can't stand Gabe. Twice now, he has ditched Fiona. He has taken her somewhere super touristy so she can check it out, get some photos, learn a little bit more about the Japanese culture. And both times he has said, I'll see you back here in 2 hours, or I'll see you back here in 3 hours. He left her at the museum, and now he has left her at Skytree. Fiona is so awesome. She just put Gabe in his place. She left Skytree. She was there for about an hour, and she thought, I don't need to be here for 2 hours. Also, why is he not here with me? So she goes into this coffee shop, and he's there. So she orders a coffee and then sits down at his table, and she says, do you know what, Gabe? I've flown over 9,000 miles for this trip to be mentored by one of the best photographers in the world. And instead, I get a second-rate replacement who can't even be bothered with me. I'm not asking for much, but if you can't be bothered, then perhaps you can put me in touch with someone who can. Also, that was my 30% check-in. She's going off on him at 30%. Gabe is having a semi-petty party to Fiona at the coffee shop, and then he just tells her, this is why I don't like teaching. And then he also says, I've done enough soul searching for one day. Boy, you've done nothing. And then he says, if you want any more culture, the Edo Tokyo Museum is nearby and I can drop you off there if you want. And she says, no, it's fine. And then he says, tomorrow you can decide where you want to go. And with that, he stood, indicating that the day was over. I hate him. I don't understand. These two are going to fall in love. Is that what's going to happen? I don't like this. I don't ship these two characters. I just had to Google this tea, and now I really want to try it. It's called Genmaicha. I'm probably butchering that, but it's a blend of green tea with roasted rice and popcorn. It's also known as peasant's tea because in the old days, rice was added to make the green tea go further. It looks so good though. I mean, it just looks like green tea, but I'll put a picture that I found on Google. Straight up, yeah, popped rice and some popped popcorn. I am still standing by the fact that I think this book is just acting as a tour guide for Japan, and these characters are still so one-dimensional. We don't know anything about them. We still don't even know Gabe's age, where they're from, what really happened. Was he actually her professor at college? And then even right now, the only reason I know what time of year it is because of the cherry blossoms. Cherry blossoms are not around all year long. It's an early spring thing, end of winter, early spring, so February to March, and it's only for a couple of weeks. And now on page 128, it's just now telling us that it's spring. Now, like I said, I know that because I live here, but if you didn't know that and you were reading this book, you would have no idea what time of year it is. Why are we not learning anything of use? I swear, this book is just a traveler's guide to Japan. Are we supposed to be redeemed by Gabe being self-aware that he was selfish? He doesn't even think he was being fully selfish for dumping Fiona both of those times. He just says that he was aware that he was a tad selfish and dumping her and running. He was man enough to admit that. No, bro. No, this is not the redemption arc that you think it is. Well, on page 135, Fiona did ask Gabe, how old are you? And all he said was, old enough to know better. Really, what is your age? Why don't we know anything about these characters? This is my 40% check-in. They are talking about this prayer wall with these wooden prayer boards, and that is what this is behind me. See if I can show you a little bit. These are two different ones. We just have them together. Hello everybody. Happy Saturday, August 31st. It is Saturday evening. This is my husband's last day to do the overnight shift, and then we can go back to our regular sleep schedule. Filming at night is so weird. It's later at night. I read a little bit more of the book after I stopped filming last night. Y'all, I don't like this book. I don't like Gabe at all. I just don't like who he is as a person, as a love interest, he is just not the person that I want to read about. And I don't like that he is our male main character. And like I've said before, you can read a book with horrible main characters and still love the book and still be thinking, ooh, oh my gosh, but like what is gonna happen next? No, I just don't care about him. I don't care. But we did get to the part on page 151 where they finally have realized they know each other, because Fiona says, you remember me? And then Gabe says, I realized the other day. Why did it take so long to learn Gabe's age? Why are we just now learning his age? Right here it says, I was 6 years older and your teacher, so it was inappropriate. Meaning that he was 24 when they met and he's 34 now. So she's 28 and he's 34. I mean, that's not bad. 6 years isn't a bad age gap, but I guess when you're 18 and 24 and they are your college professor, yeah, that's inappropriate. They are talking about other places that Fiona needs to explore, one of them being Tokyo Disneyland and Tokyo Disney Sea. Yes, absolutely. If you've ever been to Disney in the States, in Florida or in California, it is so expensive, but it is so affordable here in Tokyo. Please check that out. My husband and I went for a couple of days. So much fun. Disney Sea is huge. Disneyland is kind of little, but we loved both of them and we want to go back this fall. And then also in the book, it says you should check out Robot Restaurant. Okay, I looked that up. That looks like the coolest restaurant. It's all neon and there's robots everywhere, but y'all, it's temporarily closed, so I don't know when it's opening back up, but I really want to go there. Also, if y'all are following along on this wasp, murder hornet, whatever insect situation that is going on in this office, I talked to emergency maintenance today. Not considered an emergency whatsoever. Pest control doesn't come out on the weekends, and Monday is an American holiday, and since we live on base, we honor both American and Asian holidays, which is actually kind of cool. So Monday's Labor Day, pest control isn't coming out, so they'll be here on Tuesday. I've recorded right here in so many videos. Right now, they are telling Fiona, you also need to go check out Mount Fuji because it is a symbol of our country. Right here, this is actually sake. Mount Fuji sake. Is that not so cute? We ran out. I drank it. My husband is not a sake fan, but this is precious. I hope that we can keep this and take it back to the States. Apologies in advance if you can hear the dehumidifier. That is right here. We have 5 dehumidifiers inside this 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom military apartment and 8 fans. Yes, you heard that right. 5 dehus and 8 fans. So another thing that they're talking about in the book, they are talking about all the different flavors of Kit Kats that you can get in Japan, which is so true and so cool. And I don't know what all y'all can see. I use the back-facing camera on my iPhone, but I have all these Kit Kats right here that I got while my husband was deployed, and I want us to eat them together, so I have not tried these. There is milk, so regular milk chocolate, cassis, which is just sweet, matcha, white chocolate, cotton candy, ruby, not really sure what that flavor is, yuzu, strawberry, melon, and bitter, so dark chocolate. How is this our love interest? Please explain to me what the author was thinking. Gabe just said this to Fiona. There is a man that is coming to be photographed by Gabe, and Fiona's just kind of helping out as the assistant. You know, Gabe is her mentor / teacher, and he has Fiona doing different poses and positions to see what the lighting is like before that person gets here. That person is a man named Ken, and Gabe compares Fiona to Ken, saying that they have the same build. That is not okay. It says right here, this is what Gabe says to Fiona's face. I'm not interested in taking pictures of you. It's for the light, and you're probably about the same build as Ken. It will save some time when he gets here. I want to try out a few positions. And then it says, Fiona flinched and swallowed hard. I would walk out. Also, that was my 50% check-in. At 50%, I'm hating the male main character more and more. I hate this book so much. Fiona says to Gabe, I don't have to do this, you know? And then it says, because remember, this is in third person, it says Gabe didn't pay the slightest bit of attention to her hissy fit. Her hissy fit. All she said was, I don't have to do this, you know? But then after he thinks that or claims that she's throwing a hissy fit, it says, instead he ran his eyes over her body as impassively as if she were a piece of furniture. Am I supposed to be into this? Fiona is so dumb. She's so dumb, but you can't help it when you're a victim of abuse and manipulation. But 10 pages ago is when that happened, and she thinks that she's in love with him, and then she's thinking, this isn't love. This is just infatuation, and it would go away as soon as it could, as soon as she could get away from him. Girl, please don't fall in love with him, even though I know that's where this book is going. Gabe is still seeing homegirl, Yumi, the one who's married. She just showed up to the photo shoot and says, oh, I made dinner plans for us because I knew you would be here, and now I'm miraculously free. So Gabe once again has ditched Fiona now that the photo shoot is over, and he's going to dinner with Yumi. Why is Fiona interested in a man that is kind of dating a married woman and then also says heinous and vile things to you? Fiona is so dumb. As I've already said, she's alone walking around because Gabe has ditched her yet again, and she's thinking, what would Gabe say if I kissed him right now? Girl, don't kiss him. When you see him again, don't kiss him. And she's blaming the fact on them not hanging out tonight. She's blaming it 100% on Yumi. She just says, oh, bloody Yumi. This is partially Yumi's fault, but it takes two to have an affair. This is also Gabe's fault. Why are you falling for this man? What has he done? What is so great about him? I hate this book. Why are we romanticizing cheaters? I don't understand. Okay, we as the reader know that Gabe did not actually sleep with Yumi. We know that they didn't hook up. Fiona does not know that though. Fiona has no idea. And so right here it says, Fiona could smell the faint traces of Yumi's perfume on Gabe's shirt. This is the next day. The same one from yesterday. Why was it that the walk of shame left a man looking rumpled and sexy? And how could she possibly think he was sexy when he'd come from another woman's bed? That horrible jealousy coiled and slithered inside of her, and she steadfastly stared out the window, horrified to find that a lone traitorous tear had escaped and was sliding down her face. You're crying over a man that you think just had sex with a married woman? You're crying over that? You want that. That is what you're interested in? I can't stand this book. I'm so sorry. Every clip of me is just complaining, and I apologize. And even right here, Gabe is having a whole woe is me moment and thinking, what am I doing with my life? Dinner with Yumi was such a disaster. And then he's thinking, do I even love her anymore? Are we supposed to be on board? Are we supposed to really be believing that Gabe is falling for Fiona when he is in love with a married woman and now questioning, do I still love her? Maybe I'm falling out of love with her because I'm falling for Fiona. Gabe, you need therapy. Gabe is so manipulative and just an angry person. I hate him so much. This was going to be my 60% check-in. This is more 65% because I kept reading. And right here, once again, he has Fiona doing different poses and he's taking pictures of her. And she doesn't like it. She doesn't like having her photographs taken. And he says, turn your head again and lift your chin an inch. And she says, no, please don't take photos of me. She said no. And she said please. But regardless of please, she said no. So remember that. And he says, do as you're told. Period. Do as you're told, snapped Gabe. I'm sorry. This book is a 1 star. I can already tell you right now, this book is a 1 star because we are romanticizing abusers and manipulators. Why is this okay? 4 pages later, they have kissed on the train. I guess I'm supposed to be happy about that. Once again, I hate Gabe. I messaged all of this to my husband and he just said, wow, no, absolutely not. What a douchebag. He called him a douchebag. I hate Gabe So Fiona can't find her phone, and they're headed to Mount Fuji, and Mount Fuji is a few hours away, and if you go out there, you stay the night. So they're gonna stay at, I don't know, an Airbnb, a hotel, I am not sure, and I don't care. But she can't find her phone, and she's constantly talking to her mom. She's from London, by the way, which we found that out finally. But her mom is in London, you know, Fiona's in Japan, and so they're always talking because her mom is worried about her. And right here, Fiona says, "Hey Gabe, would you mind if I borrowed your phone to text my mother?" And he says, "No." And she says, "Why not?" And he says, "Because then your mom will have my number and she'll be texting me every 5 minutes instead of you, and that's the last thing that I want." This is the girl you're supposed to be courting? I'm sorry, are we supposed to be on board with this conversation? Then he says right here, "Don't sulk. If she's worried about you, she can phone the woman that you're staying with, and then that woman can phone me." Where's the boyfriend material? Where's the husband material? Am I supposed to be swooning right now? On a lighter note, they are talking about going to an izakaya for dinner to get a more authentic experience, a more Japanese authentic experience. And one of my girlfriends took me to an izakaya, my first one. We've gone a couple of times now, and you had to take your shoes off. Everybody was barefoot, including your server, the cooks, everybody was barefoot. And then you had to put on these special slippers if you needed to use the restroom. And we sat on the floor. I'll see if I can find some pictures, but it was so cool. It was so much fun. This is my 70% check-in. We have found out that Gabe has a younger brother, and he's a much younger brother. And Gabe teases that little brother and his mom all the time and calls his brother an afterthought. Wow. Yes, I'm rooting for y'all. Yeah, he's such a good person. Gabe is amazing. You should marry him. If you want to know, I'm this far in and they have hooked up. It was closed door, so that's great because I don't want to read about that. This is my 80% check-in, more 85% because I kept reading because I had nothing to tell y'all because I hate this book so much. And of course, they're home. Fiona and Gabe are home from that couple-day trip that they took to Mount Fuji. And Fiona goes upstairs to Gabe's studio, and guess who's there? Gabe was seated at his desk, and next to him was Yumi. Yumi was leaning against the desk, massaging his shoulders. I'm so speechless right now. You're trying to date Fiona, you're interested in her, yet you're letting this married woman touch you. Also, you know Fiona is coming to your studio, and you just let her walk in and see that, and it's just no big deal to you, Gabe. None? You don't feel anything? You don't realize how wrong this is? You're stupid. I hate this man. I hate him. I hate Gabe so much. I'm so sorry that I just keep repeating myself. This is the I Hate Gabe show. Even right here, after Yumi is all over him and giving him a massage in front of Fiona, Yumi says, "So you have to work this afternoon?" And Gabe says, "Yes, but only until 4 p.m. And Yumi says, "Okay, and then you'll take me to Albatross?" And Gabe says, "Yeah, I'll take you to Albatross," which is a restaurant. That's a bar in Tokyo. And then Gabe looks at Fiona. He has the audacity to look at her and say, "Sorry about that. I didn't know Yumi would be here. She just dropped in." And Fiona says, "Doesn't mean anything, I promise," because Fiona's still just trying to play all this off like it's no big deal. And then Gabe says, "I'm only taking her out for a drink. I won't be long." And then he says, "I'll be back before dinner. I could text you when we're done and meet you back here." And then, and then Fiona just thinks internally, she thinks this to herself, leftovers. I'm always going to be leftovers with Gabe. Yes, girl. Yes, you are. He is a horrible person. He's not in any way, shape, or form ready to be in a committed relationship with you or with anybody. Why are you interested in him? Oh my gosh. This is the icing on the cake with how manipulative Gabe is. Just 2 pages ago, he told Fiona, "I can text you when I get back and then we can meet up." Remember, when they were at Mount Fuji, Fiona couldn't find her phone. And she wasn't allowed to use Gabe's phone. He said no, because I don't want your mom having my number. I don't want her texting me. Well, she still hasn't been able to find her phone. And he even says, I can text you, knowing that she doesn't have her phone. And do you want to know why we know that Gabe knows that she doesn't have her phone? Because she finds it in his bag. Her phone has been missing for days now, and she's been really close to the point of filing a police report, even though Japan is a very safe country, and she just can't picture anyone stealing it. She keeps thinking that she's misplaced it. It has been days. And she finds it and holds it up and says, Gabe, what is this? Why do you have my phone? And he straight up tells her, I'm sorry, but I did it for your own good. This is a 1-star book. I'm on page 306. This is 359 pages. I don't even want to finish the book. I hate it so much. This is not okay. We're supposed to be rooting for this man. I have finished the book. This is 1 star. I've never given a book 1 star. And the books that I usually don't like, that I want to give 2 stars for whatever reason, I always rate them 3 online, because you wrote a book, good for you, it just wasn't for me. But this one, I'm sorry, no. The verbal abuse, the manipulation, he is a walking red flag. Why are we romanticizing this? That is not okay. This is a 1-star book. Y'all, I don't even use Goodreads, but I logged in and wrote a 1-star review. I have never done that. I've never done that. And again, like I said, when I don't like a book and it's a 2-star, if it's on Kindle, I always give it a 3-star. But for the most part, I don't rate books online. But this is a 1-star book. And this is a physical book. I didn't read it on Kindle, but if I had read it on Kindle, I would have given it a 1. And since it's physical, I normally don't rate physical books online because I don't use Goodreads. No, I logged in and I gave this a 1 star. I'm so frustrated with this book. This was terrible. It was terrible. The characters were one-dimensional. There was so much about Japan, which is cool, but that's not really what this book was supposed to be about. This is a romance book between 2 people falling in love, but there's so much information and info dumping about Japan in here. None of it really added to the plot. It was very info dumpy, I guess is what we can say. I mean, if you're wanting a travel guide for Japan, yeah, this is great. Pick this book up. Give the author money. Sure, why not? Because it does tell you a lot about where to go in Japan and what to do. That part was cool. But again, it didn't add to the plot. I mean, that was the bulk of the book, was learning about Japan, and then what little bit of dialogue we would get was about these 2 people who are not meant for each other. Fiona is so much better than that. I mean, she's very insecure. She's got low self-esteem. That girl has a lot to work on. She does not need to be in a relationship. But Gabe is absolutely horrible. This is a horrible person. I do not recommend this book. Sure, if you want to learn about Japan, pick it up or just rewatch my video. But if you want it for the romance, absolutely not. No. I'm gonna go now because I'm heated and I hate being heated. I hate reading books that I hate. So I'm gonna leave now. I hope y'all enjoyed this reading vlog. Maybe. I'm so sorry. I know I was getting so frustrated throughout the vlog and it was getting worse and worse. But if you made it to the end, thank you so much for coming along on this reading journey with me. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.